What's going on, folks? OBJ the Don coming at you with another quick video. I'm gonna try to make this as quick and clear and concise as possible, straight to the point. Let's jump right on into this. Today was the big day for Sony to unveil their PlayStation Pro, what is called the PlayStation Pro now. It was the Neo, known as the Neo before now, and unveil their PlayStation Slim. Now, those who are subscribed to me, you already know the deal. I like what I like. I love the PlayStation exclusives, and that has been my preferred console. Even though I game on all of them, that PlayStation is my preferred console. However, I'm no goddamn blind ass PlayStation fanboy either. I'm not that. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, I'm a customer first, and I'm gonna let you know straight off the bat. Uh, I see a lot of Sony fanboys out there trying to downplay the actual feature of having a um, Blu-ray, 4K Blu-ray disc drive in the console. Um, to me, I don't even have a 4K TV right now. I will be getting one in the future, but I don't even think if I had a 4K TV that I would actually even care about the 4K Blu-ray drive, because some of those movies, I think they're like 30 to 40 bucks and shit like that. I probably just buy one to try it out or whatever. But I already have a service, I already have something that I actually watch movies on, and it's fine with me. Um, a console is bought for gaming in mind, first and foremost, and it has always been that way with me. But at the end of the day, competition is competition. And as a business, as a consumer first, features play a big role in a person's decision to buy anything in life. So to downplay the missing feature of a 4K Blu-ray disc drive in your PlayStation Slim and your PlayStation Pro is completely, totally unacceptable when it comes to what your competition is offering. Your competition is offering a Xbox One S Slim that has a 4K Blu-ray drive in it for those who want to watch the fucking movies. Um, and it also does upscaling, you know what I mean? 4K upscaling. The PlayStation 4 Slim uh, does nothing but what the PlayStation 4 does. And the PlayStation 4 is a bad motherfucker, no doubt about it. But at the end of the day, you know, why would you cut corners and then sell the shit for the same price as a console that has more features? For the average consumer that doesn't care about exclusives, if they go into the store and see this shit, a 4K Blu-ray drive and all these features, and next to the Slim, there's no doubt that the better deal would be the Xbox One S. There's no doubt about that. Sony fanboy or not, there's no denying that shit right there. There's no denying the better deal, even though you may never use the feature. You may not be interested in it. To downplay the fact that it is not in there is some bullshit. And you gotta be real with yourself on that. I mean, come on, man. You can love Sony, you can love, Sony's developers, you can love Sony's games all day long. Nobody's saying that you're wrong for doing that. Don't sit there and act like that shit don't mean nothing, man. Because to the consumer, if you're going to sell it for the same, I could see if they sold it for, a whole lesser price, maybe 250, 199 even. But for the same price, that's bullshit. Okay, on to the PlayStation Pro. Um, Watching the stream, I was watching the stream at work, and it's hard to convey this 4K streaming, that 4K upscale 4K that they were talking about. I guess they're talking about temporal reconstruction, the checkerboarding, and however they're trying to get to better, higher resolution, higher textures, and higher frame rates. However they're trying to get there, they explain some goddamn process. Mark Cerny, he sound dry as shit. He sound dry as a goddamn ant's ass. But he was trying to explain everything. I didn't know what the fuck was going on. I didn't give two shits. All I wanted to hear for the whole conference was 60 frames per second, 1080p, or upscale 4K. However you wanted to arrive to that conclusion, I just wanted to hear frames, 1080p or 4K or goddamn 60 frames per second. That's my main thing. But it's hard to convey how the actual games of 4K looked on a goddamn stream. So that's why they released the trailers. If I had a 4K TV, I would watch the trailers, but I don't. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure that the games look amazing, but the games do have higher graphic fidelity, and that's something that I definitely wanted. Higher graphic fidelity. They kept saying higher frame rates also, but they stayed away from saying that it was 60 frames or higher. You know what I mean? So that's the key words that I wanted to hear. If they had showed a game like Mafia 3 or anything like that in 60 frames per second, they would have had me with my drawers off. I would have been around here, goddamn, rubbing peanut butter on my pecs. You feel me? But they didn't. They stayed away from that. That frame terminology. They also stayed away from speaking about the teraflops and the specs of the machine. We didn't find out that until afterwards. That makes me think that they was like, fuck that. We know that damn that Scorpio coming out there next year. We ain't fucking around with that right there. But they do have a year ahead. I'm anxious to see the graphical fidelity of these games. One game that always looks good, you can put it in 480p. It don't matter. And whenever they show it, is Horizon Zero Dawn. That's a bad motherfucker, no doubt about that. But it does this different type of upscaling or whatever to 4K, as close as 4K as possible. It does this different type of upscaling and higher graphic fidelity that separates it from the Xbox One S. It will have better graphics than the Xbox One S, and I know that Sony's developers especially will take advantage of that. However, it doesn't have the 4K Blu-ray drive. You know what I mean? And it's $400, $100 more than a base model Xbox One S. But yes, it will have higher graphic fidelity, and hopefully be 60 frames or more. On all these games going forward. I'm still hoping that's the case. I do not want to be playing 30 frames per second games on this system. I don't want to be doing that. But overall, aside from the fact that the stream, you can't convey that shit on stream, and aside from the fact that Mark Cerny was just dry as hell, you know what I mean, dry as a baby's rash. Aside from that, we got basically most of what we wanted. I just wish they would make it more clearer on the frames. You know what I mean? And I wish they had threw a 4K Blu-ray in there, because I may never use it, but at the same time, it's a feature that your competition has. I cannot allow that shit to just fly off and people just disregard that and act like that shit don't matter, because it does matter. It does matter, man. You have to keep an eye on what your competition is doing. I mean, PlayStation is smoking. PlayStation sales have been smoking Microsoft's ass. So you think they not trying to do what they got to do? You know what I mean? To get back, to do what they got to do? You got to keep an eye on your competition. If you're ahead, if you're on top, you got to do what the hell you need to do to stay on top. You feel me? got to do what you got to do to stay on top. And I don't think that Sony is taking Microsoft that serious. But there's another thing. Sony, it seems that may not be the case because it seems that Sony really did get caught with their pants down. This shit has been in the making for a minute. And it's I don't think they expected that shit from Microsoft. I don't think they expected, looking back at it now, I don't think they expected Microsoft to release all those features in that goddamn Slim and, hit their ass with that damn Scorpio, the rumored specs, where the confirmed specs now from with that Scorpio. And I think they were too far along in the process, into production and, getting things together to actually really change anything. It's either they got caught with their pants down or they just truly don't give no fucks. But not having a 4K Blu-ray player is not just a small deal because at the end of the day, your competition has it and it has something there for a lower price. I just don't see how Sony can just ignore shit like that. And Sony, you are like pioneers of this shit when it comes to that 4K Blu-ray shit. You know what I mean? So, I cannot let that shit slide. You know what I mean? But, overall, that's my feelings about the situation. Will I buy it? You goddamn right I'm